Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bridge Street League News BSLN. You got Dre, Mike D, and Jay today. We're going to be recapping week 2. A lot of new storylines breaking out of what's going on, who's who, and what's what, and going on in the league. So a lot to discuss. Dre and I have been running the Bridge Street League since it started and have been around these ballers with the Takeover Tour as well. So we have some insight, and we've become some big fans. As you can tell with Dre, we're in the Sugar Rush jersey. So we're going to just get some insight, talk about what's going on, and then Jay's organic curiosity is hopefully going to help us tell a little bit more detail on what's going on in the league. So, Jay, I'll pass it on to you. Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely. So let's get started and let's look into Calistio. Is that how I pronounce it? Still wearing the crown. Calistio. Tell us a little bit about them this past week, too.
So they're still undefeated, Calistio. So if you want to change that slide over, they won against Bridge Street Bangers, which is a good team. 8-1. They have Yosef on that team, and then they beat Aztecas, which is a new team. They have a guy named Jareth on that team that's very good, and they won 6-1. But man, coming off that championship season last year, still hot. So, Cal, what are you looking at, Dre, when you're watching this?
Calistio, they're now, they started as the young guys in the league. They're now turning very quickly one of the more experienced teams, but also some OGs. One of my main things that I always start with is Jair, Cesar, and also Marcos. So Marcos is he's the youngest of the three, but he's now inserting himself and created a big three amongst the team.
Yeah, I say, Jair, Real, and Cesar Aleo. Those are the, it is the big two. It's almost like Boston. It's like your Brown and your Tatum. But now when you add Marcos to it, that is almost like having White or having Porzingis. But the other thing is they are sharing the rock because you had Pablo in there who's got 6 goals on season as well. And he is actually Jair's brother. So it's a whole mix. And chemistry is something that, in street soccer definitely plays a big role.
Yeah, it's a family affair over there at Calistio. Those guys are definitely starting to market themselves as well outside the league. So I think it's just bringing more people throughout, the West Michigan area out to watch them play. I know that there's a family that drives up from Kalamazoo to check them out every Friday.
Hey.
So, it's definitely a star-studded lineup, and I'm looking forward to see what Calistio continues to do throughout the season.
You got a prediction for them? You think they're winning in the league again?
I think it's too early to tell right now.
Okay.
Because Guatemala, who we'll get into in a little bit, we know they have a lot of experience, and they've closed the deal a lot on the championship street. Kind of like your Boston analogy earlier. They got one chip last year, and then your Knicks knocked them off this year. So we have to wait and see what Calistio looks like come July.
I was just going to ask you both. I have a question. I'll start with you, Mike D. So along those lines, Mike D, is Calistio the team to beat right now?
Yes. I mean, when you wear the crown, right? When you got the championship from last year, you have the target. But I think what makes Calistio the team to beat is because they're cocky. The way they come out and the energy that they have, the way that they're promoting themselves on social, I love it. I'm a big fan of it. I love the swagger. I think it's what the game needs.
So like I'm that.
Yeah. And I know Dre had a James. He was the first one to have a James Harden jersey for Jair. We both kind of have the same kind of love for the swagger that they have. So, yeah, with the talking that they have, but they back it up, man.
Okay. Dre,
yeah.
Are they the team to beat right now?
Early on, it's hard for me not to say no. Can't disagree with that. Like I said, Jair right now is spearheading it all. It looked like he's coming back for that MVP trophy as well. So, like I said, we still got to wait and see. A lot of talent in this league.
Yeah, sure. Caesar had the MVP last year though. And he's taking on that new role. Right?
Yeah, but Jair had it 2 seasons ago.
That's true. This is true.
So he might want that back.
It's true.
Okay. All right, guys. So moving along, tell us a little bit about Guatemala Revenge Tour.
So go to the Guatemala side because I forget what I wanted to talk about, but I watched Guatemala play. Thank you very much. It was the game of the week against BIH, and BIH is another one of my favorite teams to watch. That's the Bosnian team that we have, and they have the grit and passion that I like, that I associate with as an Italian myself. But so what they do so well, Guatemala, is that they are clinical in the attack. It is literally 4 or 5 passes. They play the counter super well, so they'll pack the box, they'll sit low, and then they'll counter you with 2, 3 passes, and they always find the advantage to where it's a tap-in goal. And then on the ball, technically, if they need to create space, whether it's one of the Mendez's or Gabe, you can't. It's hard to knock them off the ball. And so when they're comfortable playing defense, they have the best and most well-rounded game for sure. For sure, when you watch Guatemala, both sides of the ball, calm, cool, collected. They have back-to-back champions. I mean, we've seen them in Takeover Tour when they went to the finals the last year that we were in Knoxville. So Guatemala, I mean, they're the Patriots. If I'm going to make an American analogy, they had Tom Brady. They have the consistency, and you always expect them to be top of the league.
Dre, what are your thoughts?
What always stands out to me is their teamwork. Those guys, again, another team that's filled with brothers, right? Family affair. So when he talks about the Pats, I would say, it's more so you add the Patriots, but then you add the Baltimore Ravens defense because those guys are tough, and they're big, they're bigger guys, so they bump you around. So I think that's how they won a few of those championships early on. I think you're playing against some smaller guys, more finesse games, if you will, and those guys will just bang you around, man, shoulder to shoulder, and those type of things. So the teamwork and the toughness, that's why it was hard for me earlier to say that Calais Steel is the front runner, because when you have a team like that, anything can happen in that tournament.
That's so Guatemala definitely a team to keep an eye out, though. One of those teams
always
kind of aiming for the top. Yeah,
always, and even outside. So a lot of these, in the street soccer league, they're playing in the Hispanic League and other leagues around the city as well. They have a reputation. I mean, they won the Hispanic League last year in a shootout that I think went to 21 pens, like something crazy like that.
Sounds like my day today almost.
Yeah, yeah, I heard about that.
Another story.
So and they're another team that just there is a cockiness to them. But when you're this good, you've earned it. You've earned the right to be this cocky.
Yeah, that's street soccer, right? We want a little bit of that. That's a good
100%.
thing. So, next question, Mike D. Tell me a little bit about this Arthur guy.
Okay, Arthur Pupin, City Heat FC, came out of nowhere. Okay, I'm going to keep it just simple.
12
goals in 4 games.
I'm not good at math, but that's a hat trick every game.
That's a hat trick every game. I mean, this guy has just blazed onto the scene, and they're not playing like, they're not. It's not like they're playing the easiest teams. And Brazilian kid just has a knack for finishing and futsal. Like he moves in this space fluently. So we will keep an eye on this kid. But right now, he has 5 more goals than the second leading goal scorer in the league. So he is, right now. And I mean, early in the season, he's the number 1 goal scorer. He is taking on that Holland scoring, type phenomenon when he first came to Man City.
Dre, what are your thoughts? Have you seen him play much?
I was out last week, but I mean, obviously opening week, he had himself an evening. So Arthur P, I'm gonna call him. He's Pup to start the name, but he's a big dog for sure. He's kind of showing us early on that he's a volume shooter, volume scorer. So just looking to see once he goes up to those against those bigger teams that we named earlier in the show, how do they shut him down? How do they stop him?
Right.
Does he make it a game? So definitely someone to keep an eye on.
Yeah. And City Heat is a team that definitely come back to the league revamped. So I want to put some respect on that team's name.
Sure.
So you guys, if you're not familiar out there watching, you guys a lot of times have a certain theme, correct? Last week was it Ladies' Night?
Ladies' Night, that's right, for the ladies.
Correct. So, and we're moving on here. Tell us about some of the ladies' teams and what's the latest there.
So, yeah, moving on to the ladies' team. So, the biggest storyline is what Jerry's wearing right now, and that's Sugar Rush. You gotta go. Yep, you missed it. Did I take it off?
Yeah, we had Sugar Rush on there. I thought. Sorry, there you go.
Too. That's all right. Sugar Rush Unstoppable. You can stay there. So we could talk about Sugar Rush without even looking at the screen. It's fine. So they have scored over 30. I think it's over around 30 goals already in the season, if not 30, close to 30. They've had 3 games because they didn't get to finish one of their games last week because we had the storm, and that will be made up this following Friday.
So 10 goals a game?
Basically 10 goals. And the way they play, going back to Dre's point, kind of the consistent theme with all this, it's a family affair. Like their chemistry is off the charts. They all have technical skill. They can score from the defense. Their defense is superb. And one of the things that makes their defense so good is Braylee McCoy. So Dre, I'll kind of let you talk about that point real quick.
So Braylee, last year, she was top goal scorer in the league. Not goal scorer, defender in the league, goalie in the league. I think it's safe to say that she's going to claim that title again this year with her 3 shutouts. And again, yes, early in the league, but she's making a case for MVP. Yeah. This happens in a lot of sports across where we just look at the offensive numbers and we kind of gloss over who's spearheading defenses. And right now, Braylee is showing again that, with talented teammates, but when it comes down to it, we've seen her shut it down when it comes to PKs. So, Braylee's ready for all that action.
Yeah, one of the hypest videos we have, Jay, is from Braylee McCoy last year, making a big save to move on.
So 30 goals and all 3 shutouts?
All 3 shutouts.
They haven't allowed a goal.
I mean, it's hard to say, like, how do you have a most valuable player when you have 30 goals, but you have 0 against? Like, it's just, like to me, the renowned stat is 0 goals against. I mean, that is absolutely absurd, especially in street soccer. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Something that's more aligned along the lines of basketball.
And again, your format for everyone out there is 5v5, correct?
Correct. Yep. And
so we're playing 5v5, on a small court to not allow a single goal in 3 games is pretty impressive, I would say.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
When you have all that talent, a lot of them, they were college teammates as well. So, they understand what it takes to win. Obviously, they've, been out here winning championships anyway. But, I think that experience is kind of helping them right now in the early going of the season.
So, Dre, let me ask you this question. If you had one word to describe Sugar Rush, what would it be?
Dominant.
Yep. I was thinking around this. I was going to say champions. Yeah. Like they just play like champions. Like they know they're going to win. They step on the field. They have the energy. And it's not like you're having these blowout games, right? But they're still energetic after each goal. It's not like, okay, this is mundane. Like they're still going at it.
And the thing is, the Sugar Rush brings a crowd as well. Mm-hmm. So that video we're talking about with Braylee last year, I mean, that court was packed. No other games were going on at that time. And I think it was one of the last games of the night, and everyone was on court too. Yeah. And if you go back and watch that video, man, everybody's just into it. And she I think she's one of the favorites because she shows emotion as well out there.
That's very cool. Very cool. Well, tell us a little bit about Zoo City. Animals at the Zoo. What's that all about?
So I was trying to be clever with the title. So Zoo City came to this week. So I got the privilege on ladies' night to be able to MC both their games. And they had 0 subs. And RBDs were undefeated before this night. Again, this was an RBDs without Lauren Remminga. Lauren Remminga being the reigning MVP and leading goal scorer for the women's league. But you can go back. All right, we can double entendre this one. But they had 0 subs. I found out this girl named Emma, who's on their team, and then Jessica Kennedy, which we all know and love, who is the owner of Zoo City. Just relentless pursuit. And the goals that they had were one-touch volleys over the shoulder and literally then a finished volley out of the air was the third goal for Zoo City.
Wow.
And then they go into a shootout. Again, 5 players, 0 subs. Back-to-back games, and they just went. They went nuts. You can't say enough about a team that won't quit. And you have these girls coming from Kalamazoo, which is about an hour south of where we're at. So this game has like a little bit more of a meaning in the sense of we traveled here. Let's get some respect for our name. Like let's make this worth it.
They're invested.
And they're invested. So what I saw them do, if I would have to say there's anyone that has the caliber and the character to take down a Sugar Rush, it's Zoo City. It's Zoo City. They're the ones that can have an upset. And if that happens, holy Dre, you imagine that? You imagine that if Zoo City goes up against what's that? That I mean, you're talking fights, like you're talking like
that's gonna have crowd control.
Yeah. Dre, have you been able to watch Zoo City play at all?
Yeah, I watched them week 1. But what I was gonna go back to is the finals in October.
Yeah, that's right.
There was a ton of chippiness going on in those games, and I think that they do bring that edge to the women's side. They're not going to back down. Again, when you drive an hour away to do anything, especially on a Friday night, you come in with the energy. You come in, with that edge to compete. But I don't want to skip over RBDs. I know we had it up there.
Valid.
Where are they in trouble? Because when you have Lauren, you're never in trouble. So when she returns, I don't, that's just a matchup where we're going to have to look at what side of the bracket RBDs fall with Zoo City or when it comes to Sugar Rush, because that can change things.
This is very true. Lauren Remiga she's the one, if you ever see the commercials that we have, the new Nike commercial that we have, she's the one that's highlighted in that. It's both MVPs of who we have from last year who are in our commercials, but she's one that has the grit and a knack for the goal. Like she's the Alex Morgan in a sense of the league. And yeah, when she's on the court, like a little bit of space turns into a lot of goals. So it will be interesting. And RBDs goes against Sugar Rush in week 3.
Okay. Well, with that, let's head into week 3. That wraps up week 2. Take us through, Mike D. I'll start with you first. A little preview of week 3, Culture Night.
So we have Culture Night coming up this Friday. So we want to celebrate the cultures of Grand Rapids and show honor and respect to everything that's going on, the flavors and the cultures that make this city so vibrant, that make this great game so great. So I might be out there with like a Knicks and Yankees tent, just showing off New York, and Dre might be out there with the Chicago Cubs because they're doing some nice things right now. Sure. But anyways, just talk about our culture is what I'm talking about. So you'll see a lot of Hispanic, Bosnian, Swahili, and just different cultures being represented. I know we have Afghanistan. What the diversity that we have in our league is what makes it so beautiful, because their game tells a story. And so paying homage only feels right. And so this Friday, we want to invite anyone that's in our city that wants to come out and represent their culture. We are more than happy to have you there for free, and to celebrate any storytelling you want to have. I know that our sponsors are going to have something special for them, especially Phoenician Spice from Lebanon. They're going to be making some really good food. We always have a taste of a lot of different flavors. We have a Brazilian grill. We have a taco truck. So we have Mexican food. And then we have now the Lebanon food that we're going to be having. So everyone's more than welcome to come out. But it should be a great time, 6 to 9:30 p.m. this Friday. And to talk about all those games and the storylines coming up, Dre and I and Jay will be having our pregame show Thursday night.
Very good. I love the theme nights. So something to look forward to for everybody. Right there on your screen, May 30th, Culture Night. Make sure you check it out. If you're not familiar, make sure you check out the Soccer Rebellion and the Bridge Street League on soccerrebellion.com, Instagram, all over social media, and all the great things out there that we're doing. And love the flavor, love all the feedback, and love the review from week 2, guys. Thank you, Mike D. Thanks, Dre.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate it.
until next time, Bridge Street League News.